Started. All right, great. We are up and running. So today's one chat, we have a guest with us, a longtime friend of mine, Miss Miranda Gula, and she is with Ashoa Home.
Achosa.
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 I
Okay.
always say it wrong. Achosa.
Achosa. Everybody says it something different. I know what you mean, but I like to start everybody off with it's pronounced Achosa. Or just say Miranda.
The one we chose.
The one you chose. There. Yes. Look at that.
Love it. I will forever remember it now.
The one you chose. Yes.
So for those of you just getting to know Miranda here, she's been in home warranty business for as long as I've been around. I mean, how many years now?
2015.
Yeah. It's a long time. So she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the ins and outs of home warranties. And I know we talked about home warranties 100 different times. How many times can you talk about home warranty? But this one chat, I asked her to come on because one of the things that we encounter as real estate professionals is those mishaps that happen post-closing that tend to give us gray hairs and make us lose sleep at night because our clients are calling us when something breaks and their home warranty isn't covering it, their home insurance isn't covering it, and of course then we look like we have pie on our face because when all else fails, blame the agent, right? Because that's what happens. So I think that this discussion is going to be a really valuable one to understand pre-existing conditions, things that are covered, things that are not covered, and then how we can have those conversations with our clients before closing to ensure that they and we have a better understanding of what happens next so that nobody looks like they're left with pie on their face, right?
That's right.
So, and I could be the first one to tell you, I don't have a good understanding about it. I don't, because there's so many moving parts in a transaction. I'm worried about all of the other things that sometimes home warranty, as important as it is to our clients, sometimes kind of gets left by the wayside, So I've asked Miranda to join us and kind of give us a better understanding. Of course, this is a one chat, so this isn't just her talking. We would love for your interaction. This is your opportunity to tell her the stories of what you've encountered. You don't have to tell her the names. You don't have to tell her the company. It doesn't really matter. Just share those stories and then help her also understand from the agent's perspective some of the things that we're hitting, because that's going to be able to really help her go back to the company and give them valuable feedback from the industry, and then also help us come up with solutions so that we can better represent our clients in the future. So I will let you take the reins here and start us out. But again, you don't have to raise your hand. Just unmute yourself and holler out. Share, please, because this is how we all grow and learn, is by experiencing other people's experiences, and then we know how to handle it when we have our own.
Exactly. Sorry about that. My camera started switching all around. You were looking at my nose there for a minute. So, okay, I'm back. Okay, so yes, a couple of things that I want to point out before I have a couple slides I want to share. I'm a visual person. I like to see things. So a couple of things I want to point out. I have been in this industry a long time, 10 years in home warranty, real estate license, not licensed anymore, but I got my license when I was younger, in the early 2000s. And I worked in title. So I understand what you guys are going through when you're talking about negotiating a contract, trying to keep a deal together. I mean, this is your paycheck. This is your hard work on the line. So not to say that warranty is always going to help, but I'm here to have that conversation with you. I will have a very frank, honest conversation with you and with your clients if you want me to be involved, right? I would love to sell a warranty on every home every time, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense, right? And I'm going to be the one to tell you, hey, that a home warranty is not going to save your butt on this deal. And it's going to, if we did put a warranty in place, it's just going to make everybody upset in the long run, right? Because of whatever the case might be. So let me share my screen. Okay, yeah. Share that. Okay. All right. Let me put this down here so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, even when I switch screens?
Yep. We
Okay.
got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Background, do it from the beginning. All right. So obviously here's my contact information. If you don't have it, we can get that to you after the fact. But let's talk about, you know, some of these things that come up where your client's calling you after the fact. They just closed on the home. Something happened, you know, let's say the water heater, you know, started leaking, right? Or something's wrong with the water heater. They just don't have hot water. And the home warranty company is saying, oops, nope, that's declined because it's a pre-existing condition. Okay. So let's talk about what an pre-existing condition is and what an undetectable pre-existing condition is. Okay. So an undetectable pre-existing condition is something that you cannot see, right? You can't visually test for it and you cannot see it. There's no obvious signs that something was wrong. So when we talk about undetectable, think about things behind a wall, right? Sometimes those are, you know, internal workings of an air conditioning unit. So those are things that you cannot visibly see, but you can test, right? So let's look at an example of that. So an air conditioner is going to be one of those things where you can turn it on if the temperatures are at the right, if it's above 65 degrees for a certain amount of days. You can test an air conditioner. You can look at it. Is the unit visibly rusted out? Is it sitting on a lean? Is it, you know, does it look like somebody kicked the crap out of it? If you can see all of those things and it's a hot mess, that is your way of saying, okay, this is probably not going to be covered by a home warranty, right? If you can visibly see that it's a hot mess, and when it is tested, you know, if the home inspector is saying, you know, this fan is not running correctly or a part is missing, that's a big one. So going back to that water, talking about the water heater, if that water heater breaks down right after closing and the home warranty company is saying, oh no, this is a pre-existing issue because the technician, the plumber that's at the house is saying, oh, there's parts missing on this, or it's backdrafting, or it's doing something that it's not should be doing, that is a known pre-existing issue. Now I can't see you guys, so if you have questions, you got to speak up because I can't see you.
So question.
Yeah.
Let's say that we have a hot water tank, okay?
Yes.
And the hot water tank was put in 5 years ago. We have the home inspection. It's running at the time, but there is signs of rust around the bottom of the hot water tank. And the hot water tank goes a week after closing.
So signs of rust mean that something's not right, right? Something's leaking. That's a detectable. That is a visual sign that something is not right.
Okay.
Okay. So again, when, you know, if you call me, Christina, and you say, you know, my buyer just had this home inspection. Here are the things that that they're concerned about. I'm going to say that's probably not going to be covered. However, X, Y, and Z may, you know, has potential coverage based on what the home inspector is saying. And those things that may have coverage, they might be old. They may be at the end of their useful life. We don't care about that. We don't care if the furnace is 100 years old. If that thing is still kicking and it's fine, great. But what we do care about is, you know, is it leaking gas? You know, is there cracks in the heat exchanger? Is there, you know, visible signs of damage to the water heater? Is it rusted out? Is it, you know, is there something that says that you can visibly see and say, okay, this is not okay, something's not working correctly? That's where, whether it's with my company or some other companies, and I'm going to show you some of the other companies and what their language is and their contracts, because I think it's important to see. I mean, I know I wish you guys would use me on all of your warranties, but you know, sometimes you get stuck with another warranty company being provided by the seller. So I like you to understand what their coverage is about.
Yeah, I think that's super important too, because sometimes, like I've noticed in this day and age, it all comes down to price. But just like regular homeowners insurance, a lot of times you get what you pay for. So seeing the differences in coverage and being able to guide our clients on like, okay, well, this warranty that maybe the seller is offering, like, yes, they are a reputable company, but they chose this because of this price. So we can actually negotiate this warranty company because they cover things that this one doesn't.
That's right.
And I've also been noticing that like the roof and the furnace becomes the elephant in the room, because some of those cheaper policies don't cover the roof and the furnace. Well, those are your two big ticket items on a house. So I'd love to know the differences on those two as well, because we're seeing a lot of those get pulled out of warranty coverage.
Yep. Yeah, we can talk about that too. Yeah, let me finish this. There's just 2 slides. Let's talk about
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, these are good. I want to know what you guys want to talk about. So let's talk about what Achosa's terms and conditions are, right? One thing that I love about Achosa is the transparency. I worked for American Home Shield. I worked for HSA. I know that there's gray areas in the contract, and that's one of the things that drove me nuts. And I will name drop because I have no shame because I worked there. But you know, with Achosa, it's transparent. We either cover it or we don't cover it. And if it's in our contract that says we don't cover it, this is why, right? So our coverage includes unknown defects, okay? Only if it's not detectable through visual inspection and mechanical test, okay? So you have to test it. You have to turn the light switches on. You have to turn the furnace on. You got to run the water heater, turn the dishwasher on, check the temperature of the refrigerator and freezer. These are tests that can be done and that are typically done during a home inspection. Our company, because we let you use your own contractor, we have a rule, all right? So and I like, again, transparency is what is key here. If a homeowner of a new buyer places a claim within 30 days after the closing, we will probably ask for a copy of the inspection report, because that right here, it says the buyer's responsible for making sure that everything's in good working order at the start of their contract. And how do they prove that they did that? A home inspection. If they didn't do a home inspection, okay, maybe it's a checkup from the HVAC company. They had an HVAC company come in and have them service it and look at it, or not even service it, just give it a clean bill of health, because it is one of the most expensive things in the home to repair or replace. So like Christina said, you want to make sure that that is working properly. Even if a buyer opts to waive that home inspection, which, you know, all makes us cringe a little bit, you know, they still can do it for informational purposes, right? They can still go in and have somebody take a look at that furnace, make sure that it's working properly. All right, let's look at the dirt. Let's see. Okay, so we have our warranty company.
Are you changing slides? Because we can't see if you are.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. I was afraid of that. Okay, let's try again. Go away. Okay. Share. How about that? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, the chart.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is, you know, separated by company, what their rule, what their stances on, what their, I'm sorry, not stance, what their contract terms are for undetectable pre-existing conditions, what their contract says, and if they can use their own, if you can use your own contractor. So obviously starting off with Achosa, we do cover for undetectable pre-existing conditions, right? If it's undetectable by looking at it or doing a simple mechanical test, right? We will cover for that. And we just went over what the terms are in our contract. And of course, yes, you can still use your own contractor. American Home Shield, one of the biggest home warranty companies in the industry. Yes, they do cover for undetectable pre-existing conditions. However, you have to have an upgraded package to get that. Okay. You cannot use your own contractor though. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because with so American Home Shield, HSA, the, you know, Choice Home Warranty, HWO, those are traditional home warranty companies, meaning that they have in-house contractors that work for the home warranty company. So if you have an AHS, a home shield warranty, and you call and you place a claim for your furnace, they're going to send out one of their guys that they have trained to look for issues to deny a claim, right? Those in-house contractors are going to say, oh, look at all of the sediment or rust on the floor. This has been leaking for a while. This, obviously didn't just happen overnight, right? So they are trained to look for those things to deny a claim, right? So they don't ask for a copy of the home inspection report or proof that things were working, because they already have somebody in-house that's doing that work for them, right? We ask for the proof, aka the home inspection or a checkup from an HVAC company to prove that you had it looked at and it was working correctly, because we work with local contractors. We don't partner with anybody. So we're relying on the homeowner to do the right thing and have it checked out before they purchase the home. Okay. HSA, same thing. They will cover unknown or undetectable pre-existing conditions, but you can't choose your own contractor. Guard home warranty absolutely does not. Neither does Choice, America's Preferred, or HWA. If you have a pre-existing condition, unknown or unknown, they're not going to cover for it. Okay. So when you're accepting a home warranty company, or when you're accepting a home warranty plan from another company, these are things that you should be looking out for. Okay. Yeah, maybe that seller is providing a home warranty, but it's coming from, Choice. They're not going to cover any pre-existing issues, known or not, and you can't choose your own contractor, right? Or Guard. Guard's another big one. Pre-existing, known or not, it's not going to cover. You can pick your own contractor, but they're not going to cover anything that's pre-existing or unknown pre-existing. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, I have a random question.
Yes.
So when you pick your own contractor, are there limits to like what that contractor can charge that the homeowner has to worry about? Like, say it's a hot water tank and there's a limit up to, $1,000, and the contractor then tries to charge $1,200. Like, how does that work?
Okay, so retail contractors can charge whatever they want, right? We know some of them can rip you off, and then you have a lot of other ones that are pretty honest, right? So going back to Achosa's transparency, we tell you exactly how much we're going to give towards that repair replacement. Okay. And let me share another. Our terms and conditions tells you exactly what what we're going to pay. Now the contractor, doesn't matter to the contractor what we're paying. So let's stick on that water heater. Okay. So homeowner places their claim, local plumber comes out, homeowner gives us a call and says, hey, the plumber is here. He said, that the water heater is at the end of its useful life. And the plumber confirms that. They have a quote for $1,200, like you said. Achosa is going to cover, depending on the plan that they have, let's say $1,000 of that. The homeowner is going to be responsible for anything over and above. Okay. Now, if they don't like that $1,200 estimate that they just got, that quote for the water heater, they can shop around. They can call 5 other companies and get quotes for water heaters. They're not stuck with the one contractor that we approved to go out, to make the repair or replacement. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, another question, because rabbit hole. But that's what these one chats are all about.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about it.
What if we're in a situation where we have a homeowner who has a hot water tank issue, and they don't know of a plumber.
Mhm.
Does your office kind of help assist with that? Is that something, I mean, obviously we would get involved if they would call
Yeah.
and tell us, but let's say that they didn't call and tell us ahead of time.
Right.
Is that something that your office kind of can assist with them with, to get them a list of local plumbers?
Absolutely. Yes. So what we do is, we say, okay, where's this house at? Oh, it's in Elwood City. Okay. So we have had great experiences based on our customer feedback with these 3 plumbers in the area. So we're going to recommend those plumbers. We don't partner with them. We don't pay them anything. Like, we don't have a partnership, a contract with those plumbers, but our customers have seemed to be very happy with them. So we're going to pass their name along. So not only is that helping, you know, the homeowner who may not know anybody, but it's helping people in your community, right? Plumbers in your community, you know, keep their business going and keep being able to charge their retail rates. As an agent, that makes you look good too, right? Because a lot of times with a CHOSA, you, as an agent, you don't even know that these claims are happening until I send you an email saying, hey, your buyer at 123 Main Street just saved $1,000 on a water heater replacement. Okay, because they're not calling you to complain or, you know, whatever the case may be, or freak out, because they have that coverage in place. Our process is very simple, very straightforward. So they just call and they get it taken care of. They're not calling you to complain because the plumber hasn't shown up for 6 weeks and they've been without hot water all that time, right? Because the homeowner is in charge of moving their claim along. They have the power to keep it moving. So if they call a plumber and the plumber says, yeah, I'll be there in the morning, and the plumber's not there, they can say, well, screw that guy, I'm calling the next guy, right? Because they can do that. They're not beholden to a traditional home warranties plumber partner to get out there, which, if you've worked in this industry long enough, you know that sometimes those can take a while. They can take them a while to get out to the house. Does that answer your question?
It does, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So-
Sorry, I have myself muted just because
No,
there's
yeah.
hustle and bustle going on here.
Yeah, all good, all good. Okay, so again, transparency. So when we're talking about coverage amounts, let's look at this. So for our water heater, we're going to tell you exactly what we cover for the water heater, what we don't cover, and then what the coverage amount is going to be, right? So this is what you can get annually for repairs or replacements. It's important to remember that home warranty companies do not cover the entire cost of a repair or replacement. Now, if you've been in the industry for 20 years, that statement might sound weird to you, because yes, back in the day, they did cover the 99% of it, but home warranty companies don't do that anymore, right? Remember, you're paying, you know, this warranty product is somewhere between $500 to $1,400 for the year. So to think that you would get on a $500 warranty plan a $7,000 furnace or HVAC system, you know, it just doesn't, the money doesn't jive, right? But it is here to help people save money, right? So if you have our very basic plan, our core plan, which is $500 for the year, you're going to get $500 to put towards a new water heater, right? And remember, you can shop around and get the best price water heater that you can, right? It goes up from there. Prime, you get $750 for the year, $1,000 when you have the Prime Plus plan, and the Pro plan, you get $1,500. So when you have these home inspections that come back and the buyer is freaking out because the water heater is 17 years old, the furnace and air conditioner are 30 years old, the dishwasher, you know, all the kitchen appliances are 10 years old, and they're panicking that they're buying this house where everything could break the day after closing, right? They've done their inspection, everything's working fine, but they're freaking out. This is where I can help you get a plan in place that is going to really help their budget, right? Protect their budget. It doesn't mean we're going to pick the most expensive plan. It means we're going to put together coverage that's going to help that customer, that new homeowner, feel comfortable should something break while they, you know, during that first year of home ownership. Okay. Any questions on these coverage amounts? Let's see if I can go up here too. There we go. So let's take a look at the air conditioning and heating system. Okay. Again, we tell you exactly what we cover, what we don't cover, and then what the coverage amounts are going to be by plan, right? So another thing you have to look out for when you're when you're accepting a warranty from another company is they may say, oh yeah, we'll give you $5,000 to put towards a new furnace. Sounds amazing. It does. It really does, but it's not true. It doesn't actually work out like that. Because if you're using a home warranty company where they're sending out their contractor, right? The contractor's working at a reduced rate, so maybe half their hourly rate that they normally would. They're getting the furnace supplied from the home warranty company. Maybe it's a Goodman, probably $800 for the actual furnace. So the homeowner is not getting a check for $5,000. They're getting the furnace installed, and then that homeowner is going to be responsible for anything that is not covered that it needs to happen to fit the new furnace, because that contractor that partnered with the home warranty company is taking a hit financially. So they're going to try to make up that money somehow. And by doing that, you are going to be paying a couple $1,000s. Well, not you, the homeowners will be paying a couple $1,000s out of pocket so that they can make up those lost dollars. Okay. So you don't actually get $5,000 for a furnace. With us, okay, you call ABC HVAC company down the street and they say, oh yeah, you need a new furnace. It's $3,200. You have the prime plan. Achosa is going to cut $2,000 to the HVAC guy, and then homeowner is responsible for the difference. Okay. So again, it's setting up the right expectation with the customer that, home warranties help you save money. They don't cover the entire cost, and you have to be careful of the language. So if you end up having to take a warranty from another company that you're not familiar with, call me. I'm pretty up to speed on contract language of my competitors, right? So if you're not sure what they're going to be getting, I'm happy to help you out there. I'm your partner in this. This is what my expertise. I wouldn't expect you to understand the ins and out of all of it, but I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to help support you so that, if something goes wrong, or if you have questions or you need help with something, I'm here to help with that, right? I'm your partner on that. I want to help make sure that you look good.
Well, I love your comment too about, it's not going to cover 100%.
It isn't.
The repairs, because, for those of us who have been in the business for a very long time, it used to
cover a lot
minus
of
the deductible. Yeah, minus the deductible. It definitely used to. So I think that's language that's still used a lot.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll cover everything. That was when I got into the industry in 2015. That was something that I had to reteach agents to not say, like, okay, we can't say that anymore because that's not true. Home warranty companies were losing their shirt because they were putting out all this money, and they decided, okay, well, we're not collecting enough upfront, the premium, the annual fee, to offset the cost of repairs. I mean, this is a business, right? It is a business. It has to make sense. So if you explain to your customer, hey, this will help you save some money should some of these really expensive things break, it's not going to cover everything. There you go. That's your setup right there.
And really, I mean, out of the last, 18 years that I've been doing this, the premium really has not increased all that much. Because I remember my first home warranty that I ever, did with a client was, I think it was like $400.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but that was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. And our base plan is 500. So yeah.
So instead of like jacking the premium, they've adjusted the policy.
Exactly. And you know what, so our most loved plan is the core plan, the $500 plan, because these people are like, I had no money, especially these buyers that had purchased the warranty on their own because the seller wasn't providing it. So if you didn't know that, yes, the buyer can purchase their own warranty even if the seller is not providing it. But they are so happy to be able to save $500 on a, appliance replacement, or, $1,000 on a furnace repair or something like that. They're so excited. We get the highest ranking on our reviews on the core plan. So, you know, yeah, just because it's again setting that right expectation. That agent that sold them that plan said, listen, it's going to help you save some money. It's not going to cover everything. And that is the biggest thing. Like, if you tell the buyer that it's going to cover everything, they're literally going to try and set up a claim for their kitchen cabinets. And, you know, if you're not, you know, familiar with home warranty, we cover systems and appliances in the home. We don't cover any decor, carpeting, siding, roofs, decking. Oh, speaking of roofs, let's talk about that. We don't replace a roof, right? What the coverage is, whether it's my home warranty or any of the other ones, it's roof leak coverage. Roof leak coverage. So it's the middle of winter, you look up and there's a wet spot on the ceiling. You know, the flashing is missing. The flashing, you know, wore away, separated from the house. The shingles are disintegrating. It's normal wear and tear of the roof that is causing a leak. So we will offer some coverage to get that patched, right? It's not going to replace the roof. So again, that's a really important thing, because I have had some agents call me and say, this roof needs replaced. And I said, well, a home warranty is not going to help you. It'll help if it needs to be repaired, as long as it's not already broken, but it's not going to replace a roof. Okay. Yeah. And I know this is a big thing with homeowners insurance companies. They are not insuring properties with roofs that are over X amount of years old. I think I saw somebody talking about furnaces and air conditioners, or furnaces as well. I don't know if anybody has come across that yet. Mechanics of the house.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. I'll have to touch base with one of my insurance friends, because I thought I saw somebody doing a conversation on it. Maybe I misunderstood, but roofs are definitely a big thing with insurance companies. So if another agent is telling you just to slap a home warranty on it and it'll take care of all the roofing problems, you say you're a liar. No, it won't. And then you can call me and I'll be happy to have a conversation with that agent, because they're trying to get one over on you. Yeah.
What have you guys seen with home warranties? I mean, the good, the bad, the indifferent.
Yeah, let's hear.
What situations do you guys have? Somebody's got to talk other than me.
Mine was good. I just actually got my control board on my furnace replaced yesterday,
Nice.
but it was covered under the home warranty. So this is
Awesome.
my first time dealing with the home warranty.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think I didn't have the warranty on your own home, but Ebony, I did reach out to you for your buyer's contact information. I don't remember which property that was, but should the client have to make a claim, you'll be getting a notification saying, hey, your customer saved X amount of dollars on this repair.
For one of my buyers?
Yeah, I had reached out to you a while ago, and I don't remember which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah. Because anytime, so if you are on the buyer side of a home warranty, I'm going to reach out, because I need your buyer's phone number and email address so I can complete the enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's the listing agent saying, oh, yeah, I represent the seller, but Ebony has the buyer, can you give her a call? Yeah, I'm going to call you and get the information so that we can send the information, the warranty information, over to your buyer. So that way they have everything that they need should they need to use their coverage. I'll
Oh.
think about it. I'll try to remember which property that was. I'll have to go back through my notes, but yeah, if they use their coverage, I will let you know. 1 in 4 buyers uses their coverage within the first 60 days. That is a home warranty statistic. So if you're thinking people don't use their coverage, they do. We have the facts that 1 in 4 will use them within the first 60 days of owning their new home.
Okay. It has to be the Greenville property. I think, because that's the only one that I didn't get a home warranty for my clients. The
Yeah.
seller actually bought it. So it
Okay.
must have been that one. Pretty sure it was that one. That's exciting.
Probably. Yeah. So
I hope she doesn't need it though.
I hope he doesn't have to use it either, but you never know. It's there. Yeah. Yeah. So what else are you guys seeing out there? Any situations that'll come up? Not obviously just with Achosa, but you know, any warranty company that you have had concerns about or denials. If you want to share a story, always like to hear that.
Anybody got anything?
How many of you are actually putting warranties on your listings and your sales?
I don't do a ton anymore, but I am.
Okay. All right. Well, we're getting into heat. I saw Ebony. Yes. So you want to talk to your clients about warranty every time. That application page where it says I accept the coverage or I deny the coverage, that is one required for your files for your E&O insurance. So you have to have that signed, right? It's also a conversation starter, right? You put this in front of the buyer or seller and say, hey, this is a home warranty. It's a protection plan that helps the buyer save money for the during the first year of home ownership. And if you're talking to a seller, you could say also, you will get free listing coverage if you agree to purchase this warranty at closing. Do you want to accept this or decline it? That's the conversation starter, right? So have that conversation with every client every time, get that document signed. If you're not comfortable about talking about home warranty, that's where I can come in and help you out. If you're sitting with a seller at a listing appointment and they have some questions like, what does this cover? You know, what's the benefit? That's what I'm here for. Reach out, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'm happy to help you out, answer those questions, have a quick consultation with your seller and or buyer, and, you know, answer their questions so that you're not on the hot seat trying to figure it out. Okay.
Excellent. Does anybody have any other questions or anything they want to share? You guys are quiet today. Must be the calm before the storm of the launch party tonight.
They're resting up. They're ready to party tonight. You know, and a lot of times, like, you can't think on the spot of like, oh crap, I did have that question. You call me, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer your questions offline if you're more comfortable doing that.
Excellent. And just so that you guys know, I went ahead and I put Miranda's contact information in the chat. If you guys want to copy and paste that somewhere so that you have her information. So I'll send a follow-up email as well with Miranda on there, so you can join in the discussion via email and ask any questions that you may have, or get with her individually to go over any situation that you have that maybe you didn't want to discuss on today's call. So if there's nothing else, I want to thank you so much for taking the time today. As always, we need to get together soon.
Sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I can't make it out tonight. Like I said, I'll try if I can get out of my other event earlier, but we'll see.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, thank you so much. And of course, like always, I will stay on the line in case anybody has any questions for me after the meeting. But if you are hopping off, thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you tonight.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.